The mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, was interviewed about Elianne's death, and he said that he didn't want to turn the tragedy into a political football, and yet that's exactly what he did. And instead of pointing out this is the 15th death by knife crime, instead of pointing out that some boy was walking around with a foot-long zombie blade, and that Elianne was killed because she intervened to save a friend, to protect a friend. It is extraordinary. It is extraordinary that the heroism of this young girl goes unnoticed by the mayor. Her name is not even mentioned, and instead he talks about his political campaign. I've already said I'm really shocked that the Home Secretary has been mute. I'm perhaps more shocked that Sadiq Khan has been vocal. What a repellent individual he comes across as being. What an utterly vile person who is using somebody's death as a tool to claw his way back into office. I'm going to post the entire piece because I hope please look at it. Please look at it and look at the serious omissions and the utter inhumanity in the interview. The utter inhumanity in the interview, not only by Sadiq Khan, but also by the person doing the interviewing. I find it heart-wrenching. That is the state of our society.
I've spent this morning in Croydon, spending time with local residents, youth workers, community leaders and the police. We've been working incredibly hard, not just in Croydon, but actually around London, supporting young people, giving them constructive things to do, keeping them busy, particularly in the evenings when we know violent crime can go up, weekends and during the holidays. And you know, my thoughts and prayers are with this young child's family, whose life will never be the same again. But what we can't do is give up on young people. We've got to be invest in them, giving them constructive things to do so they can flourish and thrive. And I'm unwilling to give up on any young person.
Is it right, the perception that knife crime is getting worse in London?
Well, look, I mean, one death is one death too many, and I mean that. I've seen the consequences too often, both as a Member of Parliament and as the Mayor, what happens to a bereaved family. But we're seeing the benefits of our investment. I was speaking to a youth worker today in Croydon, and he shared with me that because of our investment from City Hall and the Violence Reduction Unit, that's giving young people constructive things to do after school, weekends and holidays. They've not seen for almost 2 years a teenager killed in Croydon. One death is one too many. They've also seen a reduction in relation to young people getting involved in knife crime. So they're seeing some of the early signs of the progress that investment can make. And we're going to carry on from City Hall, with or without government support, investing in young people. At the same time, we're going to invest in the police. We need more police officers, more community support officers, so they can take off our streets the knives and offensive weapons.
Interesting to hear you say with or without government support. The Conservative Minister, Richard Holden, said that you should be focused on bringing down knife crime rather than distractions like the ULEZ. What's your response to that?
Well, I hope he would reflect on his comments. I'm unwilling to use this child's death, her brutal killing, as a political football. I'm quite clear, though, since 2016, I've been making clear both the consequences of austerity, but also investing in both our police,
I
but
guess
also
in
young
his
people
defence,
as well.
he would say that, look, after an event like this, it's natural that people look to politicians' response to it.
Well, absolutely, and that's why I spent a lot of time yesterday with the Commissioner, today in Croydon, speaking to the community, listening to the community. I'm quite clear, my number one priority has got to be keeping our city safe, keeping Londoners safe. That's why I feel so passionate about investing in young people, but also advocating for investment from our government, investment in our police and our community support officers, and the Met Police Service more generally, investment in public services, schools, youth workers, youth clubs, giving young people constructive things to do. I don't believe, and I don't subscribe to the point of view that crime is inevitable, that knife crime is inevitable. I think it's preventable, and we've shown the progress that can be made investing in young people.